ban that came away earlier, and you'll see no doubt that being a bit of an impact on Razah Company when we get round to their attacks. For now, eyes to me fall towards Hot and Cold and the Maverick as well. This actually has been banned away against them that have been a previous time playing on this map. So without shaping up, it's going to definitely come into play. You'll see things like the Blitz being, sorry, the Bandit being a thing, but it will be dealt with by that. SDK is under a lot of fire here. Atom not quite finding his man, and Atom, it's worth speaking about him. There's been a phenomenal Deimos throughout this tournament.
Yeah, he's been absolutely deadly on that operator, and although he's taken a lot of damage there, he's done some important work. I spoke about STK immediately. Where's that pulse going to be? They can't let him have that freedom, and they haven't. He's been forced back to site now. We can see he's up there on that top floor. So, Unwanted have now got themselves the opportunity. They've got the map open. Everybody's back up in sight, and they can start working through. They can use the verticals underneath if they want to. They could maybe get Atom in underneath with those tracks and just make it difficult now for Razah to play in their previous positions. But just looking, STK, he's wriggled his way back down underneath the site.
This is quite unique as well. Unwanted have got every single player pressed up towards this meeting side of the top floor. The C4 coming out, not going to find his man. You've really got to place that one perfectly to find someone. In fact, I think we saw Shaikor was getting caught out by a C4 from that spot just the other day, but was a bit too deep at the bottom of the stairs to be caught out by. A similar story here. It's a good caution being shown. We are half the way through this round, though. We've got to start seeing the kills coming on through, and SDK, not being finished off earlier, comes back and gets revenge on Atom.
Yeah, that's the big problem. They had to deal with that because now you've got a pulse underneath with Nitro still in hand, and Unwanted, what do? Do they commit an extra man to go down there? Maybe an extra two? STK doing some serious damage. I said that Razah needed to be getting a bit more out of Baseto, a bit more out of STK, and he has certainly delivered on the pulse in round one.
Must have an idea on where his man is as well. These two coming into a 1v1, but both looking slightly the wrong way. Going to charge his way through, and the headshot comes in. STK having a wonderful first round, Tim. 3 kills on the pulse, completely dismantling this attack from Unwanted, and then they're trying to pick up scraps at this point. Gaveni onto another. Worth reminding you, Tim, last time they played this map, Gaveni, in the first 4 attacks, got 4 multi-kills in a row. If anyone can save this round for them, it's going to be him.
I've got to be honest, I'll be amazed if Unwanted come away with this. None of the work has been done towards site. They're playing in towards toxic babes. Walls haven't been opened. The players are separated. They're trying to work their way back together. You've got one on warehouse. You've got one inside a connector. Razah take them both down. That's going to be enough. We're going to see that first call coming in, so this is going to be all about trying to find those roamers, trying to track them down, trying to make life a nightmare. It's going to be Perez taken out by Hot and Cold for the entry. Live manages to find one in response onto Atom. That's a big one. The Dokkaebi's gone, so that second call and potential control of the cameras, that's all lost.
I know that there's a couple of players holding around this floor that they've got to deal with is the problem, Tim, and we're already halfway into the round. Unwanted, starting things out quite slow. Yes, it's a really big map, but I dare say a little bit of stage nerves as well. They look a little bit, over-cautious, and I think it's going to punish them the longer these rounds run on.
They maybe just need to be a little cautious here to Razah as well. They've only got one on site at the minute. Baseto's down there with the Kaid. Otherwise, everybody, they're kind of in touching distance, particularly Flashtree's on those stairs that we so often see teams playing, but there's an opportunity here potentially for Unwanted to just go direct to site and take a bit of space.
There is, if they recognise that, then maybe so. There's now a second player down there. I believe it's the Oryx who's fell back. In fact, no, it's Flashtry on the Frost that's now back with him. Still 2 players causing a bit of bother. You've still got Legion up on the top floor too. You can see SDK at the top of your screen. The problem is, Tim, they've got so little control of the map here. They've got warehouse, they've got cargo hall, they've got storage. That's really what they've got to work with. This could be really painful if they can't make this execute work.
Yeah, Unwanted are just stalling out a little bit here. It feels they're starting to get that vertical work done, but there's 30 seconds left to go. Flashtry manages to pick up one. The trade is there, but with a player up on the top floor, Unwanted have got some real work to do now. It's STK again doing the damage. Manages to get a double. That's 5 in 2 rounds. He is going big for Razah.
Oh, this is looking a bit too easy, but Dream is in and found one. Problem is, Tim, no diffuser, 10 seconds, 2 players to go. It's all too easy for Razah Company Academy. Really are giving Unwanted the runaround so far.
Flashtry He could certainly be. He's just dropped back to storage, actually, which might just give him a little bit of freedom. But as Hot and Cold gets aggressive up onto the catwalk, Atom's going to join from the other side. And Flashter's in a dangerous position here. Spirits manages to take down Perez. Flashter has no option but to run away. And Unwanted, they're starting to build a little bit of momentum.
Much better. 3-4 players involved in this push, and they are punishing Razah Company Academy. It doesn't matter what they do. Live gets one back onto Gaveni, but the damage is done to him. He's found 2 in the round. Hot and Cold with a goo mine in his foot will go down here, but that's what I'm talking about. More trade play. Spirits capitalizing off his teammates' aggression, and now Live is all alone.
Get that diffuser down. That's your next key. Live is trying to get anything going that he can. Where's the support? It's Atom. He's up above, and he manages to close it out. And just as I expected, Des, this Boston audience did not disappoint. Every single kill that went down for Unwanted, the place erupted. They are desperate to have an opportunity to cheer for these NA.
Until the heat start cooking, he will be out of there. Keep an eye on Spirits, though. Him playing down below could be that X factor. Of course, he's got the tracks. There's a lot of soft flooring on this top side. They can do a lot of work. But look at that, a straight walk up Cargo Hall. They lose one, but Spirits is there for the trades.
STK still manages to do some damage before he is taken out. Perez joins the party, taking Gaveni out as well. And that's a lot of utility loss. Your Thatcher and your Capitao down. That is going to be a real tip of the spear that has been lost for Unwanted, particularly that Capitao. 3 versus 4, and it's essential that Unwanted pick up the next kill.
They're really took back here, though. Like, Razah Company basically all moved towards the north of these two sides and said, look, you want control of IT? It's yours. You want Catwalk? It's yours. We don't mind. They want to challenge them when they actually start trying to walk up towards the site here. These very small bottlenecks, for example, IT door, very small location to walk inside, you'll be exposed to 2 angles. Trying to get you away in towards A site, a similar story. Very, very small angle. Almost finding in from below. This is what I like from Unwanted, though. Identifying, look, we've got more bottlenecks here, boys. We need to do something. Let's go and find a kill from below. But Spirits has got to make something happen soon. Great kill from Dream as well, removing an angle from deep in IT so as not to expose himself.
Yeah, just provides that little bit of aggression that Unwanted maybe need to get them moving. Atom, he's kind of locked on Catwalk at the minute, and again with 30 seconds, I use that term stalling out. It's something Unwanted need to make sure they don't do, and they're not doing this time, as Atom manages to find another, the pressure mounts. 2v2, the Spirits manages to find Live. 1v2 now. Razah trying to hold on. It's all up to Pasetto. 1 toxic babe remaining. Can he make it? No! Atom goes in, gets a kill, and Unwanted find a...
Really hard to do when you can hear exactly where they are, and sure enough, Spirits is aware of the player inside of IT, doesn't want to push this pillar player.
STK continuing to do a great job through this game. Perez teaming up with him there as well and managing to find that opening kill onto Spirits. The track had been used to find STK but hadn't been able to successfully create aggression onto his position. And with Perez in tow, they've been able to take advantage of that perfectly. Big loss for Unwanted there. You're trying to push through and clear an entire map. Everybody that you lose is a huge amount of manpower when you're trying to do that much work.
So far we've seen Unwanted play really tight and grouped as a team, whereas I look back to Razah Company Academy, I think about early last year, Tim, when we saw them playing on Lair, all 5 players are pushing different parts of the map at the same time. And I think this lack of a backstab player is costing them in some of these engagements. If you had a player coming in from Aqua side then, it gives something else for Razah Company to think about. The pressure starts building up. They can't watch Electric Door and pick you off as you step up to challenge it. So I would like to see them being a little bit more spread out right now. You have got Dream watching Cargo stairs and a bit of a flank watch, and Atom's now starting to threaten the site itself. They've done well, but Razah have still got 2 or 3 players up above.
STK is going to take a bunch of damage there as these two keep on clashing, but so is Gaveni. And again, you look at that clock up at the top of your screen, those seconds are ticking by, and the kills keep raining in for Razah Company Academy, but Atom manages to find an advantage. 3 versus 2, and Unwanted are starting to take over the site. It's all up to STK. He's already shown us heroics, but will show us no more as Dream cuts him down. Mint is firing the team up as Unwanted. They managed to push themselves ahead for the first time.
But I can't imagine his time is much longer for this world, as there is Gaveni, there is Spirits starting to build up on that side of the map. The rest of them, as before, are pushing in from that northeast side, Tim. I always worry that there's no backstab here, and it's what's going to bite them the longer this runs on.
Yeah, this is it. As soon as Razah Company recognise that all 5 players are out to that same side, even if they're split between Connector and IT, it means that they can just start focusing up in that one direction. They can start dumping utility out like that Nitro over the top takes down Hot and Cold, and they don't need to worry about that flank. They don't need to worry about that rear side. It's all going to be guns up. Spirits has, though, managed to take that catwalk position. So, with 25 seconds left to go, this one hangs in the balance.
STK's found himself another. It's Dream falling by the wayside. Gaveni into another. This push here is so crucial. Gaveni into a second, playing behind the shield of Spirits. But Tim, it's a 2v3 with 10 seconds to go. They've got to net some kills. One more goes their way. They've also got to recover the diffuser. Sees the shadow on the ground, knows that he's close. We're going to have to see amazing cover, but no! Gaveni has fallen. Won't have a chance to get the last. Almost got there, but hiding away, thanks to that help of the clock, Tim, sees Razah Company Academy give us a 3-3 in towards you. I'm just a little bit nervous they won't really be able to find the maximum effects, because still leaning in towards things like the Dockerbee and the Daymar. Spoke about that a hell of a lot, and I like at least we're seeing the respect being shown, bringing along the Maverick to deal with the electrification and the mute jammers.
Just looking for an opportunity here. Dream, Nitro will go out. Not going to throw it, just puts it back in pocket for the time being. That extra big hole being opened up might just give a nice opportunity to dump it out there and see what he can find, though.
You say that. There you go. Dream. What a dream start to the round. The Maverick taken offline. His work is done, though. IT has been opened up. That's okay for them. Connector's also open, so they've got the 2 walls open they needed, but Tim, they're going to be down a gun, and that's going to be the main stinger for them. That big hole that you see opened up, teams usually use it on a rappel, get someone playing on it, and try and watch out for a C4 in that position. But we've seen teams quite a lot throughout this tournament use it as bait. You open it up, there's no one actually on the rappel. It's just there to scare you and stop you trying to make an aggressive play. But Dream holds his nerve, gets that entry. Great start.
SCK is going to be able to work his way up the backside here, and even though he's caught in that F-Nat, manages to take down Gaveni. 4 versus 4 with a minute left to go, and live, he keeps things rolling for Razah. This is not great for Unwanted. 3 versus 4 as one gets taken down with a nade.
I was going to say, we're not with the 3 players left here as well. The insta-track coming in, which means all that soft flooring below him, it's like lava, Tim, and Perez going to capitalise off the back of the trap with live putting in pressure from below. It's a 4v2 for Razah, attacking really well here.
They're working pretty much exclusively from Connector and Electrical, though, and that could be a big problem for them because they're going to find themselves funneled into the shotgun of Hot and Cold. He manages to hit one with a Nitro, will be flashed out, but he's there, ready for the challenge. That is a good idea from Razah. We see the Flores moving around to go through Electrical. They're looking for the pinch on Hot and Cold.
And they've also got live coming at the backside as well. This is what Unwanted didn't really do, Tim. The spread out is good from them, but in that time, Unwanted have found one. And for 2 and 3. Spirits collecting 2 kills in the close. Great end to the round, just as we saw Razah Company Academy getting themselves set up. They can, of course, play it in here, just trying to get a little bit of calm going and get themselves a good spearhead into the round. Thing is, though, when you're against a team that loves playing shields, Tim, they're also pretty damn good at dealing with them at the same time.
Look at the pressure that's being brought in, though. Spirits, he's trying to get something going. He's running around. He somehow manages to get away. Just sort of diving over the balustrade there just to get himself to safety. But he's on 1 HP at a push. And we've created so much space there from Basetto. And really says to me, Unwanted maybe didn't have a plan for dealing with that Monty push.
Maybe not. It's more the pressure that came from that kitchen window and almost caught them as they got back. But I think being alive at this point is a real crucial thing for Spirits. C4, I think you can hear on the ceiling above him at this point, ready to rip when the time comes in. Still with 2 more to play behind. There we go. With him being alive, even on a slither of HP, Tim, he can still press that trigger. He can still find a kill.
He's maximised that value there, and I often talk about the utility, whether it be nades, whether it be nitros. It's a great opportunity for a risk-free kill, and Spirits manages exactly that. You'd have to back the Legion here of Gaveni to get his kill. The Ram has absolutely no idea, but Sonky knows that he's gone on stage. It's as easy as that. Flashtree taken down, and a quiet game for Flashtree continues. 5 versus 3, Unwanted.
Big one as well. STK died at about the 135-second mark. Oh, Atom, you little rat. We've got the plan going down. Is he? No, he'll look for free. Almost managed to get away with it as well, but Live has found him first. They don't manage to stick the plant though, Tim, and that's pretty crucial for Unwanted. They've still got the numbers advantage. It's a 2v4. They've got vertical control. One of the guns is a Monty. This is Dream territory. Long by try, but Dream is there for the trade. Again, to try and scare scare Dream away. That's a funny one to say. C4 coming out low. It's going to find Flash 3.
Too easy.
Too easy. They were ready for the round to go through. The wall has been made soft, which is one thing. So they should be able to get in, Tim. But again, they are down a gun, and Flash 3 cannot catch a break. Not just really on this map, Tim, but the whole tournament, he has struggled to get big numbers up. But here, on the game that matters most, it's currently 1-8.
It's the second time now that Dream's been able to punish them on that wall as well, just waiting for it to go soft and then striking, just picking his moment because he knows and he can predict exactly where that Maverick's going to be. Nitro goes out over the top, doesn't catch anybody in electrical, but again, it's just all burning more time. 5 versus 4 and Unwanted. They have the pleasure, they have the privilege now, they have the space to be able to just hold these positions. They don't need to run away necessarily because they've got that man advantage.
Perez has managed to get up to electric door here as well, but here comes that potential backstab tip. The Dream! They're done with everything! Gaveni with a 2 has completely eviscerated this backstab coming out from Razah Company Academy. Basetto with an ill to do. Might see the head of one. The recall, he misses his shots. All 5 players still up and Unwanted. And sadly, Tim, that tack timeout has done nothing to help them here. He'll stop the flawless, he'll find a second, but at this point, it feels like KD padding.
To be able to push on and get a grand final here potentially, but we know that it can't be both. They've faced up against each other, but I also mean in terms of performance, it takes its toll. When you're the underdog, you're having to win maybe close 2-1 games every time. It gets tiresome, it gets exhausting.
Well, they've got that Brazilian blood, Tim. Will it be enough? It doesn't look like it will be on Labs. Atom starting things off. They've had a track down onto Hot and Cold in the shield already because they know that clash is going to impede them. They don't really have the tools to deal with it. What, a few frag grenades in back pocket? Cool, that's all they've really got to work with. It's going to hurt if they can't make this clash move away from key power positions. And right now, Hot and Cold is free to play wherever the hell he likes.
Going to see that pressure mounting from above from Dream as well. He's able to open things up with the KE shotgun. TSG just get those lines of sight that he wants and just rain down a bit of support. There you go, he peeks around the corner, manages to get one. 4 versus 1, it looks almost certain. The Unwanted will close out the first map. Now Labs goes to the North American side.
As expected, Tim, a couple of early rounds, it looked a little bit shaky, but this was always going to be their playground. Good bit of team play coming out from Razah.
I'd like to see Live open the floor up a little bit more above him because Dream's moved back to kind of that desk area. He's actually been forced away, and it is because of Live's work. He's done exactly what I wanted to see. It was Hot and Cold previously on the clash that was so Unwanted, holding that desk position and just making it a nightmare for people to move through there. As it is, Live has recognised that. He's opened it up with the book, but the problem really now for Razah Company is that Unwanted have opened things up. They've taken down Perez. That's your Thatcher gone. They've got the 300 that they need, but it's too easy. Gaveni gets himself out of the window, takes down Flash 3. That's Rotero's gone as well, and Razah immediately on the back foot.
It's a really good read. I mean, Perez, he's the reason why he died in the first place. He swung, didn't get his shot, and paid the price for it. But for Flash 3, I think once they realised there was a Flores on side, there's a very good chance on where he's going to be playing. And as I mentioned earlier, they knew they were coming to these maps today Unwanted. They knew what was going to get picked up at some point in this series, that they've picked Labs, and Lair would either be the second map or it would be the decider. They've no doubt studied a lot of tape and seen where they like to play these positions. He knows that Flash on the Flores likes to sit out and play in that position. And that's what prep does for you, ladies and gents. It gets you free kills in big games. A 5v3, a lot of work here for Razah to do to even recover this round. And they barely set foot inside the building. There's 40 seconds left, and they're down 2 players.
Yeah, it's going to be the first step is you need to get some kills here. It's just get aggressive and find a couple. But Unwanted, they're a team that is absolutely laden with experience. They're going to give them absolutely nothing here because they know they don't need to. It's practically. I was going to say it's time to take your hands, off the mouse and keyboard, but Gaveni says, you know what? I'm going to stick around, make it 3. He's having a field day on the Legion.
God, I wish I could shoot like that. I spoke about Gaveni back on the last map. He isn't always going nuclear in the lights, but when you need him most, he steps up and goes big. One of those players that I think a few people this tournament have looked at and said, but massively underrated. historically during his time on Dark Zero, and you've been Tim, but so far no one has gone down, and yet again, they're making use of these shields.
We're nearly 2 minutes into the round, and Hot and Cold once again is giving out a little bit of a clash masterclass here. Absolutely burning through second after second. Perez does manage to take down Gavani. That's a big moment for Razah Company, but the question is, have they taken too long? They still haven't dealt with Hot and Cold.
Every single player's up on this top floor at this point for Unwanted. They smell blood, Tim, and they want it. They're down a player, but they're doubling down on the aggression because they can see the clock starting to become the sixth man. Down to the last 40 seconds. Now we see Razah Company dropping in. They've got control of at least one of those hatches and are able to start hitting the site, but they haven't yet got rid of this clash up on the top floor.
Just going to be seeking now Atom on the flank, potentially. Has a little think about it. Won't make the challenge. Dream does find Basetto, though. 4 versus 3, 4 versus 2, as all of a sudden, as much as it was going well for Unwanted, it starts to fall apart. The plant is going down. They won't have time. As Flashtree manages to find...
For example, you've got the gun free. You're free to go and be an entry, to go and play with guns up and try and cause some trouble around the map. And so I like the use of it here as well to try and take some utility away from the other side. See Hot and Cold still dug in up top as well, trying to cause a bit of bother. Live's got in and got the entry, and Timber Plant's going down here, and there's still 9 players alive.
Going to be an easy stop there for Unwanted as Spirits is on the rear side, manages to find Perez. So that will take the planter down, put the diffuser on the ground for the time being. Flashtree low health as well. That is not ideal for the North American side as Gavani will hit his own, takes down Spirits, and there's a lot of missed shots coming out of Hot and Cold there, leaving us now 4 versus 2. Basetto is going to confirm that plant this time around. That is going to be now all up to Gavani, working his way back against the clock. But Live, he finds the round, he finds the kill, and he fires up Razah Company Academy.
This is the team that I remember from stage 1 of Brazil last year. Looking at this, Dream feels ready for him, but I can only imagine he's been spotted on a drone, Tim, and that could mean a bit of a headache incoming.
Looking to get aggressive and move on him, but Dream says, no thank you, not today. He's going to take down STK, and that is a big, big loss for Razah Company Academy, losing that Blackbeard, but Perez is there on the finger to take down Gavani with a headshot. 4 versus 4. Legion, a big loss as well. Of course, those goo mines accumulating over time, so you've just lost a good few of those as well.
It's really interesting how they've chosen to completely forsake that mask wall and just forget about it. We're going to start hitting in towards site. We're going to start causing bother and putting pressure onto Unwanted, and to be fair, Tim, it's largely working. There's no electrification onto that wall either. There might be a jammer on it, but of course Live can help out with that. Spirits was looking for his man, and Perez with that LMG just going to hold on a second. Or he might step his way in towards that barbed wire and completely lose his life, but manages to hold on, juice himself back up with that thinker.
Spirits really does need to be finding that kill. Never easy on the SMG, but it was a little bit of a freebie. Of course, the thinker as well with that global boost, being able to put health into all of the operators on side would have been a big loss for Razah Company Academy. Mask wall is still not open. Basetto has been around there, but has now moved away, I think. So looks like they're just not really sure here, Razah, exactly where their push is going to be. They haven't dealt with the mute jammer, but they've had Live underneath on the book. It's kind of like you need to get moving at this point.
I think Live's still working his way around here, as you can see. I hope they've realized there's the 2 mute jammers stacked to either side of the wall as well. It's not so much down to being in the middle. I think now they managed to get rid of one. You can get starting suck on, but I think one side's still blocked up. That the left-hand side now screen here. But at least the one does get opened up, and they've got themselves in towards Mass. That's normally step 1, but they've left it until very late in the round.
That's it, 40 seconds left to go, and all Unwanted have done is they've sort of drawn themselves a line across site, and they've just dug in. They're just going to hold those positions now, looking out towards Mask, because they know that's where the majority of pressure is going to have to come from. Atom manages to pick up Basetto, and they're trying to get themselves on in from Ops Corridor here, but it's going to be tough, as Atom manages to find a second. Live does take down the low HP Spirits, but 3v2 and time is ticking by.
There's that C4 from Hot and Cold that I thought we might see coming up from below. A little bit too easy there for Unwanted, who didn't really feel challenged at any point throughout. Sure, there was a little bit of a surprise backstab factor from the Zulu corridor, but outside of that,
nothing this time. But if they can clear that position, if they can force him back, which they are doing now, that's going to be a big first step for Razah.
And then clear it from below if they need to. The problem is, Tim, with it being on the below, that's where the site is. You can't just walk in there and make use of it. So that mirror is going to require some gadgetry to be removed. It's going to be the Selmas coming out to start that one being forced back. But with this, Basetto has fallen 2. They've lost a player. They've lost a lot of utility. And Tim, they're starting to lose time. We're halfway through the round.
STK is just looking to get aggressive here as he hooks around the corner. He finds himself staring at one of those mirror windows. Gabani peeks around the corner, finds his kill, and that is a serious advantage to Unwanted now. 5 versus 3. Remember, of course, the site isn't up on the top floor. The site is underneath, and Razah Company Academy are still trying to work their way across through this utility. They've had no answer to these mirror windows. No Ash, no Carly. Nobody that's going in there and doing anything about them, and they have really, really suffered to that utility. The diffuser's down cold as well. Razah Company Academy have got problems all over the map.
This is where I start to worry for them, Tim, as I feel Unwanted have done their homework. They know how they play this map in the same way they knew it back on Lair. And Unwanted in this round just do not have the tools, as you say, to get the job done. Selmas might work for one, it won't work for the rest. Dream nets himself for 2K, the hero of Boston. Going big when required. I say required, it wasn't really needed, to be fair, Tim. They're in a 5v1. Absolutely dominating Razah Company Academy since they sort of figured things out after round 1. Yes, they fell a little bit short for the next 2 rounds, but since then, they have forced all their way back in. And there's not a lot that Razah can sight and then pop it. But Tim, I remind you again, we've got those trap operators on side. We've still got Vulcan canisters deployed around the map. You've still got one in back pocket, for God's sake. Yep. There's a lot here that Unwanted can do to trip up Razah Company Academy. Yeah,
only a minute 10 for the Brazilian side to get things moving here. They're going to start with the breaching. Going to be the Habani of Bisetto that manages to start working on that wall a little bit. Perez does manage to get the entry, 5 versus 4, and what we've seen quite often, I was going to say from Razah Company Academy, is being able to double down on those entries, being able to get themselves an advantage, but Unwanted started the fight back. However, it will be ended.
There it is.
Picks one's up with an EDD. But it's 3v2. Atom in such a key position, and they know he's there.
Another flash coming out as well. Really good use of them so far. Forced him away momentarily. Had to go aggressive here and brings down live. The book removed, but the trade is there. Flash streak circling round to his man. And Tim, who else would it need to be than Dream in a 1v2?
25 seconds left for Dream to hold on. He's going to be flashed out, which tells me they know exactly where he is. This is going to be tough. Does he see his man? No, he can't quite see it. The plant's going down. A beautiful first.
Quickly becoming Razah Company Academy's nightmare. Tim, he's up to 6-0 now.
Not exactly
what,
that.
They know, he's got to know someone's there. Look, does he catch someone here as well? This Candela comes on through, which it does. They still don't know if the shotgun was out, but he went for the second man and pays the price for it. Here we go, making use of that light screen to get the cross on towards stairs and pushing up deep, but no, it expires. They see him at the top and they manage to get the down, a 1-for-1.
Dream does pick up Perez along the way though, and he goes for a second, can't quite find his man. STK will escape, but takes a lot of damage in doing so. We find ourselves 4 versus 4. Unwanted, they've got themselves a good little bit of map control now. They've got top rocket stairs, they've got themselves in bathroom, they've got themselves in ops. The next step is to start pushing forward and dealing with site itself. The big problem they've got is STK underneath, who still hasn't been dealt with.
There's also the problem where Bisetto is tucked in by Mask Wall because they haven't opened it, Tim. He can largely sit here. Here we go, and the challenge is in from Hot and Cold, finds his man for free. Now that smoke has expired, they might be able to get a plant down. But look at that, 2 kills out of nowhere. Flashy all by himself here, gets a wicked shot. Hot and Cold has gone deep, but he's now trying to push in towards him at the same time. But can he hold on? Brings down one more, but the trade is there from Adam. Unwanted take their first attack, Tim. They're up to 5-2, and just 2 rounds away from a second box. So as much as I mentioned about the vertical play, this might be the round where you see it creep in. Of course, Spirit's back over onto that Blackbeard, as we've now seen him 1,000 times over. Also making use of the E1D, and no, Perez can't get the side swipe, can't stop the kills from raining in. Bisetto might get one, but there's an immediate trade.
The big problem that Razah Company have got now is confidence is up on the side of Unwanted. They're feeling themselves. They know they can get these kills, and get them they will. Diffuser down, Atom finds live, 4 versus 1. It's all up to Flashtree once again. He steps around the corner. He gets cut down by Spirits. And Unwanted, just like that, in that blink of an eye that Laxing spoke about, put themselves on.
The swing's coming on through, but look at that, Spirits bearing down in that doorway. You've got to contend with a shield, Tim. That is no easy feat, especially not against Spirits.
The thing is, it's not just about this round, it's about the next 3 as well. Yes, you know, you may well struggle your way through this one. Unwanted maybe don't break them down, but there's just going to be so much work coming for Razah Company to be able to close this one out. Dream will start looking to get aggressive, but it's STK to open things up. Razah Company looking good as Basetto gets onto the flank, takes 2 down. 5 versus 2 now, and surely at least a starting point for Razah Company Academy.
This is what they've been hoping to avoid, Tim. Let's not forget, with the Dokkaebi, with the Nomad, with the Gridlock, there are so many ways that you can deal with these cheeky little swings. You really shouldn't be getting blindsided by players like that, but Basetto has gone big in what feels like his first big round of the game, to be fair. Future's down inside the side, as you saw from our pip just a second ago, but not like it matters, Tim. This could be a flawless round, and what a response it would be from Razah Company Academy.
It's exactly what they need, and not a minute too late. Realistically, Basetto manages to do just that. Takes down Spirits with that final headshot. That is going to be the round for Razah Company Academy for one more at least. The Brazilian team keep on fighting. Flashy taking out that utility. You're going to hear the Dokkaebi calls coming on through, and it's too easy for Atom. 1 kill of 5 that will see Unwanted continue in this tournament. 4 more to go.
You still, of course, got the shield up on side. Can't ignore it. Blessing being the shields, as the enemy side whittles down in terms of man count, you become even more oppressive. Less players to trade or find side swipes onto you as you're stepping into a room. So then keep this building up, this momentum here, still with over half the round to play. It's definitely not a bad spot to be in. That second phone call for the Dokkaebi about to come online for Dream as well, as long as it doesn't find itself going down too soon.
Basetto just going to be taking the peek around the corner, sees the barrel of the gun approaching him, decides rather than taking the challenge, will dump out the Toxic Babe canister. Just gives him the 10 seconds he needs to scuttle away to safety on the stairs. Just going to hold that tight angle for now with the SMG. Needs to be careful though. It's going to be the Blackbeard that he's coming up against. Not going to be an easy fight to win with that gun. Just trying to chip away at a little bit of health maybe, certainly a little bit of time. As each Toxic Babe just wastes those valuable seconds.
That's the last one now as well. They can't really waste any more time. So there's 60 seconds still to play. Vertical in their favor. Hot and Cold trying to do what he can. And he's putting pressure on these two players. Perez and Basetto have got to be really careful here. As more and more of this flooring is opened up above their heads. So let's see C4 to play with in Flash's back pocket, mind you. They can still catch Unwanted off guard here, Tim. And now we come down to these last 40 seconds or so. That clock starts to become the 6th man for Razah. And this is where Unwanted start getting forced to make errors they don't want to make. They can't drone everything out. They can't afford to check every corner of every room extremely cautiously. They're going to have to go all in here.
They're certainly setting themselves up on multiple sides here, but you feel that Razah Company Academy might just be able to hold on. 15 seconds left to go, but no, Unwanted, they've got a little bit more to say about this. 4 versus 2, 10 seconds, but Perez manages to get hot. Tries to put the diffuser down, goes for the kill instead. 4 seconds left to go. He's going to have to get this case down. He has no choice. But Atom, he takes the final kill, and Unwanted take one more step in this tournament.
They'll play against the winner of FaZe versus SSG to see who moves forward to face against the loser of BDS versus Furia, our game later today. I say largely unbothered in that series, Tim. Razah Company Academy have played their part in this tournament for sure, but on the day, Unwanted were on